Welcome to our World Cup special.
Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history. Today's show is all about the history of soccer.
I've got a football quiz for James and he's not seen any of the questions.
But I have been doing a project on soccer, so I might get some answers right.
Yeah, maybe. And you listening at home, you should see how many you can get right out of our 25 questions. All of the questions are true or false questions, so even my mum's got a chance of getting about half right. Shall we get started, James?
Yeah.
Question 1. True or false? The earliest evidence regarding football is that dinosaurs used to kick small animals around in small-sided games.
False?
Yeah, some of these I just made up. Number 2. Centuries ago in England, soccer was played by kicking an animal's bladder across the countryside.
True?
Yeah, that's right. They used to inflate an animal's bladder, with air. He's pretty pleased with that, people. And number 3. The Romans, Greeks and ancient Chinese all used to play a type of soccer about 2,000 years or more ago.
True.
Absolutely true. In ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient China, they were all kicking something around. Okay, number 4. Soldiers used to celebrate their victories by using their enemies' skulls as footballs.
True?
Yeah, it is true. We've had accounts of this in different places, in Europe around Roman times, in England in medieval times, and suggestions of it in China and elsewhere as well. Number 5. In medieval England, that means England between 500 and 1,000 years ago, soccer was banned by some kings because it distracted men from doing their archery practice.
True.
Yeah. That's the problem, you see. James has done so much research over the years because he loves soccer for school projects and also just reading books at home. He probably knows more than me. Number 6. King Henry VIII was so good at soccer that he even played for Chelsea once in a friendly against Arsenal.
True?
That one's false. So Henry VIII was about 400 to 500 years ago, and Arsenal and Chelsea and even the oldest professional football clubs have only been around for 100 and something years. Number 7. After the English Civil War, and this is after Henry VIII, this is about 350 years ago, people were sent to prison for playing or even watching football on Sundays.
False?
Nope, that's actually true. So the side who won, the Puritan side, this is the people who chopped off the head of the king they defeated.
Henry VIII?
No, this is Charles I. And so Charles I side lost and he had his head chopped off, and the Puritans who won, they had a very strict idea of religion and of Christianity and of what you could or couldn't do on a Sunday. And basically on a Sunday you could do nothing. No dancing, no singing. They didn't even like singing like in church, singing hymns. And they banned all sports, including football. But they didn't last very long. They weren't too popular. A few years later, Charles I's son, Charles II, he came back and took over and became crowned the new king of England. Number 8. In the 19th century, that means the 1800s, so between 1800 and 1900, some British schools, including rugby school, decided to allow soccer players
True.
to run while holding the ball. And do you remember from your history of, you've got a history of football book, that includes rugby and Australian rules football and NFL, American football. Do you remember how NFL starts? Does that start because of rugby, or is that something different?
It starts because of rugby.
So someone took the idea of rugby from England to America, and from that became NFL. Number 9. During the 19th century, one man called Chester United was executed for playing football on Queen Victoria's birthday.
False.
Yes. Yes, the keen, sharp listeners out there, you'd have got that one when I said one man, Chester United, was executed. That's James's favourite English football team. What's your other favourite club team, James?
Bayern Munich.
And what about if Bayern Munich play against Manchester United one day? Who do you want to win?
I would like it to be a tie, but if someone has to win, Man United.
Question number 10. The first World Cup was played in Athens in Greece in the 3rd century BC.
False.
Do you know when the first World Cup was?
1930.
Yeah. Do you know where it was?
Uruguay.
Yeah, okay, so you know it all. Do you know any players from that World Cup?
Pedro Petron.
Tell us about Pedro Petron.
Pedro Petron was a Uruguayan player. He wouldn't head the ball because it might mess up his haircut.
Oh, he had a fancy hairstyle, did he? We'll have to see if we can find a picture of him, but from 1930, I don't know if we will to see. It better be a really good hairstyle to refuse. Can you imagine playing in a World Cup and refuse to head of the ball? You're playing for your country. Question 11. True or false? Uruguay have won the World Cup more times than England.
True.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that, as you can probably guess. I'm English, so James is half English, half Scottish, and yeah, Uruguay have won it twice, both in the 1930s. I think the first World Cup there were 13 teams. I'm looking at James. 16 teams, okay. So most of the European teams, including England, didn't go to the first few World Cups. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have won more. No, we wouldn't. True or false? The greatest soccer club in the world is Portsmouth Football Club.
False.
I write the quiz questions, you should remember that. So I hope you guys, if you're playing at home or in the car or whatever, I hope you said true to that one.
It's false.
That's my hometown, so it must be the greatest.
No, it isn't.
Number 13. True or false? The greatest player in World Cup history was called Edson.
False.
No! It's true. Okay, when we ever say the greatest something, it is a matter of opinion. But I'm pretty confident that you'd get more people saying this guy was the best player in World Cup history, better than any other players. His full name was Edson Arantes do Nascimento. Do you know what he's also known as? His more famous name, his nickname?
What?
Well, then I'll start giving you a clue. He got this nickname because he liked a goalkeeper.
Oh, Pele. Yes, he is the greatest footballer of all time.
So I was saying he liked a goalkeeper when he was a kid. He liked a goalkeeper. It was called something like
Bele.
Bele. So Bele. Yeah. But Edson, as a kid, thought you pronounced Bele as Pele, so he said it in a funny way, and his friends teased him because he was a famous player in Brazil at the time, and his friends teased him for saying the name wrong, and so they said, you're Pele, and he hated it. He hated that nickname at first, but I'm pretty sure he likes it now. So what can you tell us about Pele?
Pele's won the World Cup 3 times with Brazil. He's got 1,090 goals for his career. Pele was born in a poor family in Brazil. He played barefooted until he was 12.
What did they used to play? What did they use as a football? You mentioned that Pele was poor when he was growing up, so they didn't actually even have a football.
Rags.
Yeah, just tying together like cloth rags and kind of making a football out of it.
And he probably scored the best goal for Brazilian history, or second best goal for Brazilian history, against Sweden in the final of the 1958.
Yeah, and do you remember how old he was? That was his first World Cup final.
17.
So he was 17 and he wasn't expected to really play much in the tournament at all, and he ended up scoring a hat-trick against France and then 2 goals against Sweden in the final, and it was held in Sweden and they were the favourites to win it. And one of those goals was a particularly beautiful goal. And so Brazil have won the World Cup 5 times, more than any other country, and Pele's won 3 of those. And of course, they're the only country in the world who have played in every World Cup tournament.
We love history. We love history, baby. We love history.
So, James has done some in-depth research where he's found a number of football jokes, but some of them weren't good enough. They just weren't good enough for this podcast. So he has brought you the best football jokes in the world ever.
What did the South American footballer say when the referees gave him a red card?
I don't know. What did the South American footballer say when the referee gave him a red card?
I don't believe it.
I don't Bolivia it. You need to know your geography a bit there. I don't know Bolivia's in South America, but we've got some clever listeners, so I reckon they all got that.
What ship can hold 20 teams, but only 3 teams leave in each season?
I don't know. What ship can hold 20 teams and only 3 leave in one season?
The Premiership.
Oh, that's the ship I'd like to be on, the Premiership.
What happened when the pitch got flooded during the match?
I don't know. What did happen when the pitch got flooded during the match?
The teams brought on their subs.
That is my favourite football joke ever.
We love history. We love history, baby. We love history.
Okay, back to the quiz. Question 14. During World War I, Germany and Britain had a ceasefire, so they stopped fighting each other and played a football match on Christmas Day.
True.
That is true. It happened in more than one location during the First World War, because where they were fighting was not just like one place, it was about 400 miles long, and they had these trenches where the Germans were dug into the ground hiding on one side, and the British were dug into the ground hiding on the other side, and every so often they'd look up and try and shoot each other. And anyway, so several places, and in several years, because the First World War went on for 4 years, there was a Christmas truce, a ceasefire, and they played football against each other and exchanged cigarettes and greetings. And by the way, people, they didn't know cigarettes could kill you back then. And they gave chocolate to each other. Okay, question 15. The World Cup trophy spent World War II hidden from the Nazis under a bed in Italy. So the actual trophy, they didn't want to lose it.
Yeah.
They didn't want the Germans to get hold of it.
False?
Actually true. So Italy had won it in 1938, just the last tournament before the war, and Hitler and the Nazis, they had a habit of stealing all the gold they could, all the nice paintings like Leonardo da Vinci paintings and so on, and they would just take them for themselves, and they didn't want the trophy to be taken, so they hid it, and it managed to survive World War II. True or false? Everton Football Club started as a Sunday school team, like a kids' church kind of team.
True?
Absolutely true. That's how it started out, yep. True or false? Arsenal Football Club started as a team of prisoners.
True.
False. So do you remember what Arsenal's nickname is?
The Gunners.
Yeah, good, the Gunners. And that's because they started as a work team, and the workplace was a factory that used to make guns. So that's how they started off, not as a team of prisoners. Number 18. The Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway Company Football Club became Manchester United Football Club.
True?
It is true. Well done. I'm glad the Man U fan got that right. He's celebrating. You don't have to celebrate quietly. It's all right.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Number 19. It's the last one of these types of questions. Sunderland Football Club started as a team of teachers.
True?
That is true, yeah. So you can imagine, guys, your teachers at school getting together, starting a football team. But I can't quite imagine then joining the Football League and going on and you know, playing against Man United and so on. Number 20. So we got 6 questions left. In 1966, the World Cup trophy, was stolen and then found later in a bin by a hamster called Pickled.
False.
That is false. Do you know what the true story is?
It was found by a dog.
That's right. So this is when the World Cup was in England, and it was stolen, and it was later found in a hedge by a dog called Pickles, not a hamster called Pickled. Number 21. Soccer is known as the painful game.
True.
False. I would say that might suit rugby or NFL or Aussie rules. That looks pretty painful, Aussie rules football. But soccer is actually known as the beautiful game. Okay, number 22. When Germany won the World Cup for the 3rd time in 1970, they were allowed to keep the trophy.
True? No, false.
It is false. Why? What's wrong about that? Do you know? Think about 1970. Who actually won the World Cup for the 3rd time in 1970? It wasn't Germany.
Brazil?
Brazil. Yeah, that was Pele's 3rd World Cup. Okay, number 23. More people watch the World Cup on TV than any other sporting event, including the Olympics.
True?
True. Number 24. About 200 countries try to qualify for this year's World Cup.
False?
I'd say true, because it's about 200. Just over 200 countries try to qualify. There's lots of big teams that have not even got there. Sadly, we've got no Italy, no Holland, no USA, no Chile. Not this time. All of the big teams have missed out on the World Cup sometime or another, except Brazil. Okay, number 25. LA Galaxy is called that because of the galaxy of star celebrities for which Los Angeles is famous.
True?
It is true. LA Galaxy, you know, we all know Los Angeles, the home of Hollywood, and so that's where they've got the idea for the name LA Galaxy from. Well, you did remarkably well there, James. I have to add up your score later. So if you want to find those questions, all 25 of them are in the show notes and are also on our webpage, dadandmelovehistory.com, where you'll also find links to all our social media pages. So get involved, send us a message, tell us what score you got, tell us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter how you did. And please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts.
And tell your friends about us.
See you next time on
Dad and me love history. Dad and me love a whole lot of history. We could be the greatest team that the world has ever seen. Dad and me love a whole lot of history.
Ooh yeah.
Chicken nuggets walking down the street. Chicken nuggets walking down the street.
Yeah, I know, I'm just thinking of the outtakes, man.